This woman named Sally left her 2-year-old daughter home alone with her neighbor's dog to go out and party with her friends. But what she saw when she came back from the party was so devastating. Here's what happened. Once upon a time in a small African town, there was a beautiful woman named Sally. Sally was as beautiful as the morning sun. People loved her because of her beauty and her lively spirit. She had a way of making everyone laugh, and no one could resist her charm. Sally had been married 4 times before, but she never had a child. She always dreamed of having a big family, but somehow that never happened. Sally loved to go to parties. Oh yes, she was always the life of any gathering. Whether it was a family gathering, a town meeting, or a big celebration, she couldn't resist the fun, the laughter, and the chance to show off her beauty. She had many friends, and among them were 3 special ones. Her best friends, the ones who always gave her advice, and Sally trusted them. They told her to never stop living her life and to enjoy herself, no matter what. However, her first husband was not so happy with Sally's ways. He didn't like how she spent so much time with her friends and went to so many parties. He was a quiet man who liked peace, but Sally loved excitement. She would invite her friends over to gossip and laugh, which made her husband very angry. "Sally, you need to slow down and focus on us," he would tell her, but Sally didn't listen. She enjoyed being surrounded by her friends more than anything else. This went on for a while, but soon her first husband had had enough. He told Sally, "If you keep on like this, we will not last." But Sally didn't want to change, and so her first marriage ended. She didn't shed a tear because she was sure that she would find another man. After all, she was still young, beautiful, and everyone in town loved her. Not long after, Sally got married again. But just like before, she never listened to her husband's complaints about her partying. She was always busy with her friends, laughing, talking, and planning their next big party. One day, Sally was in the kitchen preparing yam porridge. The pot was on the fire, the smell of spices filling the air, but before the yam could even soften, her friends arrived, their laughter breaking through the walls like a sudden storm. "Sally, come and hear what happened to Mama Lady at the market," one of them shouted. Without a second thought, Sally wiped her hands on her wrapper and rushed outside. They sat under the big mango tree, giggling and whispering like birds in the early morning. They talked and laughed until the sun began to set. Sally got so caught up in the gossip and excitement that she forgot all about the food on the fire. Her friends were in her house talking and laughing, and Sally didn't notice the smoke that started rising from the kitchen. By the time Sally remembered, the smoke was thick, and the fire had already started to spread. The flames danced high in the air, and Sally rushed to put it out, but it was too late. The whole kitchen was burning, and soon the fire spread to the rest of the house. Sally's husband came rushing home, his face turning pale when he saw the fire. He was so angry, his voice trembling as he shouted, "Look at what you've done, Sally. You were too busy with your friends to care about our home." The fire burned everything. It took away the things they had worked so hard for and left Sally's husband with nothing but disappointment and rage. Sally felt terrible but didn't know how to fix it. Her husband, feeling hopeless, turned to her and said, "I can't live like this anymore. Pack your things and leave." Sally didn't say a word. She knew he was right, but she didn't want to lose him. Her husband couldn't forgive her, and with a heavy heart, he sent her away. Sally's heart sank. She ran to her friends for advice. "Beg him for what?" one of them said, rolling her eyes. "If he can't understand that mistakes happen, then he's not the man for you. You're beautiful, Sally. There are many rich men out there who would be lucky to have you." With her friend's words ringing in her ears, Sally packed what was left of her belongings and left without looking back. Sally went back to her parents' house, but instead of learning her lesson, she kept doing what she always did. Her parents were worried. "Sally," they said, "you need to stop listening to those friends of yours. They are leading you down the wrong path. They are ruining your life." If you've made it this far, I encourage you to like and subscribe to the channel to continue enjoying fascinating content like this. Your support is very important to us. But Sally only laughed. "Papa, you don't understand. This is how life works now. Nobody stays indoors and becomes somebody," she would say, brushing them off like dust from her fine wrappers. She believed her friends knew better, and she refused to change. So Sally stayed the same, and once again, her life took another turn. This time, it would be the second divorce. Sally didn't take long to find another husband. She soon remarried for the third time. At first, everything seemed fine. Her new husband was kind and hardworking. They had their moments of joy, and Sally tried to be a good wife, but her love for parties and gossip never went away. She would sneak out at night to join her friends, leaving her husband alone at home. Sally always believed that she had the right to have fun, no matter what. Her new husband started noticing the same problem. Every time he came home after a long day at work, Sally was either out partying or gossiping with her friends. "Sally, why do you spend so much time with them? We're supposed to be building a life together," he would ask. But Sally didn't care. She loved the fun, the laughter, and the excitement too much. Her husband would often sit quietly, feeling lonely and neglected, but Sally didn't see it. After some time, her husband couldn't take it anymore. "This isn't working, Sally. I need a wife who stays with me and doesn't run off every chance she gets." And so, just like her first two husbands, he divorced her. Sally didn't cry or beg. She didn't feel as bad as she thought she would because, after all, she didn't have any children to lose. She wasn't losing anything. With nowhere else to go, Sally moved in with one of her friends, a single mother who also didn't have a husband. Her friend gave her bad advice, telling her, "You'll be fine, Sally. There are plenty of men in the world. Don't worry about what your family says." Sally thought her friend knew what she was talking about, so she kept following the same old ways. She married again and again and again, but no children ever came. Divorce after divorce, Sally found herself in the same place. No family, no children, and no real happiness. Yet Sally kept going, never learning from her mistakes, always blaming her marriages for not working out. Sally never gave up on her dream of having a good life. She was always looking for the next big chance, the next rich man who could change her life. One day, at a grand party in the town, Sally met a man named Taju. Taju was a handsome, wealthy man known for his riches and kindness. He had never been married, and at 40, he was starting to think it was time. When he saw Sally, he was immediately drawn to her beauty and charm. Sally, always ready for a chance to live a better life, smiled at Taju, and they quickly became friends. Being the social butterfly she was, Sally knew how to win anyone over. Taju liked Sally's warmth and laughter, and before long, they were spending more and more time together. He was different from the men she had married before. He didn't mind her socializing, but he had one rule: no parties and no friends visiting the house. Sally agreed, thinking it was a small price to pay for the life she had always dreamed of. Taju and Sally got married soon after. Sally felt like this was the beginning of something truly special. She moved into his large, beautiful house, and though she missed her parties and friends, she promised herself she would make this marriage work. Soon, Sally was pregnant with Taju's child. After 10 long years of waiting, she was finally going to be a mother. The day came when Sally gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, and the whole town celebrated with her. Sally was overjoyed, holding her daughter close to her chest. Finally, after all the failed marriages and disappointments, she had what she had always wanted, her own child. She looked at her baby and thought to herself, "This is the life I've always dreamed of." But little did she know, her love for parties and her past would soon come back to challenge her new life. Sally's friends, who had always been a big part of her life, couldn't stand to see her settle down. They were used to her wild ways, parties, gossip, and endless fun. Now that she was married to the richest man in town, they didn't want her to stop living the life they had always known. Months passed, and Sally seemed to have found her rhythm. Her days were filled with laughter from her baby girl, and Taju's love made their home as warm as a sunny day. I hope you enjoyed this amazing trip. Subscribe and don't miss our next video. See you next time.